Up, boys and girls, ladies and gentlemen, day traders, closet swing traders. Hope you guys are doing absolutely fantastic. Hope you guys are surviving a little bit of a pullback in the market. Looks like we got a bit of a gap down as well. So we'll make sure we cover that. Just kind of see where some important levels are and what will happen from here. Because I don't know, it's getting a little scary out there, but you know what's not scary? You know what's not scary, team? The fact that we got Albert in the house. That's not scary at all. We got Alex. Good morning. We got Bill, Brian. We got Brian. We got Doug Stevenson. Gerlene's with us. We got Gus. GW in the morning. We got Jay bright and early. Good morning, Jennifer. We got Jesse in the house. Jill, Joe, JT. My boy Matt Orr, Michael Holt. We got Mike. We got Peter. Good morning, Sam, Sylvan. We got Tanya, Tony, Will. Yes, sir. All my people on YouTube land. We got Richard. Good morning, Ernesto. Whew. We got the squadron out today. We got Hector's in the house. He must have just popped in. What is his YouTube name? Not YouTube name. You got a little calendar.com after his Zoom name. Not only could you Zoom, but you could also book the appointment with him right through Zoom. I think we could schedule a call right from Zoom. It's impressive. All right, let's see what's happening with this market. If anyone could tell me, that'd be great. That would be tremendous. Because a little bit of a gap down from the close of yesterday. This is the hourly chart. As you can see, we had a really bullish day yesterday with nothing but red candles, free falling. The problem with yesterday, what made yesterday a challenge is it wasn't like every greedy short was getting paid out. Every single greedy short. Hi, Santi. We got Santi in the house on YouTube land. Even though you come up as Marie. All right. What is happening? It was difficult because it didn't really we didn't really get much at all in terms of pullbacks, bounces. Maybe both. Nothing like that. If we go to even a 5-minute chart, it was a slow drip all day. So unless you were taking greedy shorts where you're like, okay, I'm just gonna get in. Maybe you got a 10 EMA right at the open. That's on a 5-minute chart. Could have carried down. You're like, all right, maybe a little double bottom. That one would have paid. You got another break. That would have paid. So trend was down all day, except for the very, very end when probably most of those shorts were covering, closing out positions, just wrapping it up for the day. But I think so far, at least, they're back at it, right? So we have two things I don't love for the bulls. As of now, and this could also be a little bit of a little prep work for next week, where I think more of the fireworks would happen. I think we got some reports coming in on Friday. I don't think we have much today in terms of Fed. We're in like Fed blackout period, so I'm not expecting too much. This is the candle, this big long volume candle, which I know we're on the hourly, but this is when the Jerome Powell started coming out, singing, dancing. That's the candle you did not really want to break down. We have a tremendous amount of bulls that bought up in here, or at least got short squeezed. And within legitimately 2-3 days, we gave that all back. We closed below not only that candle, but that little bit of support, double bottom, right at the VPOC from yesterday. And again, it is a little bit of a gap down. This is now our 1, 2, 3. We got 4 VPOCs in a row. So we definitely have a bearish trend. And I have this line, which again is arbitrary. This is just me drawing lines. But let's extend this out now since we have a little bit more data in terms of time. That was the break of that trend. That was the retest. I have to lean bearish. I just want to go bullish. That's all. But yeah, have to go bearish today. I'm not looking for. I think there's right now a bunch of bulls still trapped. J-Pain got punched in the face. I think a lot of it has to come down to the fact that we have 10 a.m. What's 10 a.m.? It's either Matt thinks it's 10 a.m. now, or there's a report at 10 a.m. Last week, JPal talked. I did very well with breakouts in Forex. Yeah, any breakouts would have worked. No, we don't have the rate announcement today. I believe that's all next week. I could be wrong, but I'm pretty positive. Oh, we got the BOC rate decision at 10. Got you. Okay. Yeah, where's Emily? Where's Emily? She posted it. Okay. I didn't have time to check today. I didn't have any time today. Get everything set up. So we'll see what happens. I mean, maybe that saves them more. I don't think. I think the bigger decision, the bigger news that's going to weigh much more heavier on the market is anything that happens more next week than this week. And we definitely have some fearful bulls out there and some trap bulls. So I have to lean short today. We did retest again in VPOC at the end of the day. So that one's already been retested and looking for potentially some kind of a breakdown to me, further breakdown, maybe a bigger breakdown. We any of the key levels that we were running into yesterday in the SPY, the Qs, every single one of them was just getting absolutely, it was almost like they were non-existent. They were not respected at all. And the next first level down at least would be 383. That could also take us back to 378.70. And if that one breaks, all of those other VPOCs were kind of retested. So hats off to the Bears. Hats off to the Bears. I can only read one thing at a time. We're good until the credit report. Yeah, I don't know. Here's our little bit of pockets of liquidity. You can see where we closed yesterday. I mean, this would be a pocket. This is a pocket. And all of this, nada. We don't have much in here until the next spot, which will probably take us to more or less this 387 for probably a bare minimum. And back down to, I think, right into this zone would take us right to that VPOC for some kind of retest. Maybe we fall a little bit short of it and we hit 384. That's unfortunately, that's my bull case. So that's not good. But yep, just kind of ripped it up. Let me see one more. I'm gonna try my best to do one more bull case. And we'll see if this one even wants to hold. But we have this here. That would be our trends higher. Pretty close to it at least. And there's the break. I guess my only bull case is that we didn't really come back to retest that line. So if we get anything real bullish, probably a retest into that. Otherwise, we've clearly broke down that upper somewhat longer term bullish trend line, and that's even broken as well. So I don't know. Hector says at Matt Bear suit never came off. He's a full-on bear. Let's check out the Qs. And I believe today is a retest gap. We maybe have retested it pre-market potentially. The Qs look like a disaster. Qs look worse than the SPY right now. So at least the SPY, we're inside the range of that last attempt from the bulls. The Qs were underneath that, underneath all VPOCs. The next spot probably will be 278.28, I would think, for the Qs. And again, this should be, I mean, it technically it's a retest gap. We're opening below the wick of yesterday. So that's not fantastic as well. Yeah. And again, that's a small target. We should have a little support to get right around that 278. We got one level. Looks like we have another level in there. One more level there. Otherwise, past that, we start dipping to 270, 269. Maybe even get back to 266. It's a long way. And all of those targets are if we hold this structure, this double bottom, and we don't sink more. So I don't know. Tesla's bleeding. Yeah, they're wounded for sure. One level of support on Tesla, maybe. Again, not a great wick. Still technically a retest gap. So I'm not going to short Tesla at the open, although the Qs look weak. I don't know if I would sell a put. Not yet. Are we doing an evening star reversal on the SPY weekly? Let's see. Yeah, so the weekly and I think the monthly had the nicer breakout on the SPY for November. So all of this, where we're at now, and again, it could get ugly before it could get better. Even if we're going to go with a 618 retrace, even a 50% retrace, this could still be, I mean, that could still take us down to this 379. And then the 618 comes at 372. So right around where those VPOCs are as well. We do have this high wave over here. I guess it was kind of retested there. So we definitely have, I personally think we have a little bit further of a drop ahead of us. A little bit more. I just don't see any real big support levels. But again, out of the gate, and we'll see. I mean, Tesla obviously will qualify at open. I gotta figure out how to get this thing off now. There it is. But the week has to close for that to technically be a reversal. It could turn out to be. Let's go back real quick to the SPY and just look at that monthly candle again. The monthly candle is really still just kind of supporting where we got that almost Harame type setup. And like, maybe we could survive, and who knows? Keep in mind, this entire real candle came in for the bulls the last day of the month. Last 1 or 2 days of the month. That's really where this green bullish candle came from. So we had 2 days positive and the whole month kind of just shaky and bouncing back and forth. But it's not looking good. We're actually no, that's my little alarm. Never mind. I thought that was pre-market for a second. I don't believe it is. Yeah, is that pre-market? Ruh-roh. That can't be. No way. No, pre-market's up here. Okay. For a second I was like, is that pre-market below that October monthly? That would be bad. But yeah, all in all, not a great start to December. They promised me a Santa rally. Somebody lied. Tesla, yep. So we're below that wick again. If I could get a couple of bullish moves out of the gate, great. I'd still be looking short. And at this point, probably 169 is back in the cards on the Tessie. The best band ever in this chat. We should go on tour. That would be good. All right. We got AMD, which I don't think qualifies just yet at the open, but my guess as soon as that bell rings, AMD will probably qualify unless we get nothing but buying out of the gate. Again, still technically a retest gap, so I do want to give it a little bit, but I'd also not be shocked if this thing opens and just drops where any of the bulls toward the end of the day are trapped on AMD as well. We're opening at this point past this candle. Next level of support probably takes us to about 68.34. So we have a little bit of room to work. And then probably a little bit more of a serious one would be about 67.19. So that would give us about $2.50, something like that, to that exchange. To our YouTube. Justin says Santa Rally's getting slayed. That's a good pun. I didn't even think of that one. That was a good one. Yes, Santa. Well, Santa's he's stressed out. All the supplies for toys that cost more this year is It's rough. We got to cut back on some L's. Payroll getting crazy. I don't know. NVIDIA, I think his tax credit ran out for running eco-friendly sled. He had like a good 5-year run on tax credit, saving some gas. I don't know. NVIDIA, so NVIDIA is not going to qualify at open. I would expect a little bit of a retest again. Still looks a little bit to the weak side. I would say you do have a little bit more support, but we did close below the 10 EMA on a daily yesterday. Would love to see a little bit of a green candle in there today. I don't know if we get any type of buying, but we're just honestly, we're setting the stage, I think, for the much bigger move, and whether that move is bullish or bearish, that will be determined. So next week. So if there is any chance of a ending the month with a Santa rally, it's going to look like it would start next week more than at least this week. So remaining bearish seems good. Apple below or right at the low of yesterday as well. Probably next target on this one would take us to about 141.32. After that, we got 140.60. So providing that we hit that, that would be about $1.30. Again, not a great, probably risk to reward to go short on this one. At least yet, unless you have or under the system of beliefs that this breaks, and then we do have a untested VPOC all the way back down here at 135. Where this thing came up. So here was kind of our breakdown. This was the retest into that breakdown. So that's a good little bit of resistance we bounced into. We faded, little reversal candle, strong sell-off, down move after. Would love again to see some of this get retested before we drop again. Maybe they'll finally give us some rooms to take advantage of some of those plays, but man, I'm coming out full bear mode today. Heck, to start a new business, I think, just renting out bear suits. And I'm a prime customer. So Jose says, so we on a gap down retest to keep shorting. At this point, I don't have a reason to go bullish yet. Yep. Jenny's in the house all the way from Australia. She's like, nobody has that accent in my country. I don't even know what that was. Yeah, I don't have a reason to go bullish yet. So it's almost, I would wait a few minutes at the open, see if we can get a couple green candles and start taking the drops below it. Some of these things, like, so we have Amazon. That's going to give us $86.73. That's got to be a support that holds. Otherwise, good night. There's nothing below that. There's just one untested VPOC. So are we going to have another big bearish day today? I mean, we'll see what those numbers at 10 do to the market. I don't know if they're going to play too much of a factor. Not quite yet, but yeah, we're going to have, we even closed below the other previous VPOC. So there's definitely some room to the downside. The question is, how bearish are we going to go? Are we going to break those? Are we going to get some kind of support there? Even on this little smaller wave count, though, this looks like to me a 1, 2, we're probably starting 3. The 3 has to be longer than the 1. And that alone will probably break through. So 3, 4, 5. Something like that. I don't know. Not sure whether we'll be buying protective puts on AMD and NVIDIA today. AMD looked like a bigger, you'll probably get a better value, honestly, on NVIDIA for the puts, just because it's still kind of in no man's land, where I believe people are probably like, okay, maybe this is a bouncing spot, maybe not. And it's got, I feel like, a little bit more meat on the bones, where AMD kind of already broke and the premiums are drilled up higher. So AMD, you kind of have a decent free, as long as we start breaking some of these levels, which are kind of close. Again, if you're going to buy the protective puts, say you want to buy it, we get some green candles, maybe hitting $71 in a worst case scenario. 73, probably do an add-on, and then I would definitely just stop out at $79.40, $80. Something like that. take the loss, let any longs run at that point. But yeah, if you get some kind of a balance, honestly, I think either one is decent. But we could look at this chart too and go, is this a cup and handle? Is this just one big cup? There's our handle. People start freaking out, and then that happens. We're just in a market. It just depends on. We're so news heavy that some of the technicals probably don't matter as much as they normally would. Unfortunately, everything comes down to, and then like now Jerome somehow figured out a way to put himself into a spot where the market was moving bullish off the fact that he's thinking about coming in lighter with the rate hikes, and yet to this extent now the market's like, well, we don't know if we really want that, because then if you pivot, we've seen that recession really kick in after the Fed decides to pivot historically. So maybe don't do that. So now he's darned if he does, darned if he doesn't. But this would be a 50% retrace. So 66.97. The other thing you could do is, if you get some kind of green candles, you could buy those puts, buy a couple of them, and then I'd sell a couple probably at this $67 range, sell a couple more at 64, and then just let the rest run and see what happens, because this definitely could get broken. I don't know. At this point, Hector, I think it's just the landing that matters. I don't know if it's a soft or hard landing. I think he's just trying to figure out how to land the plane. I don't think he's going to what's the captain's name that landed the plane in the Hudson? I don't think he's gonna be Sully. Yeah, the only one he's worried about is the crash landing at this point. Yeah. I think at one point he had dreams of being Sully, and the market's like, nah, you know what? Really, no matter what you do, it's going to be a rough one. We're not going to be happy with anything. We're just getting stubborn. You can watch Boeing today. Again, a little bit of support. Has been a monsterly strong one. But we did close still above the 10 EMA, and today we're opening below it, below that wick. So you might see a little further drop off on Boeing, but it does have some key levels of support below it. Captain Whip. I am your captain now. First Solar. Still, see all these things. They have a little slight level of like they could get saved. But based on the last 2 days of, I mean, they didn't even give us any pivots. And chasing, I'm not a big chaser, but chasing worked yesterday. If you were to almost take any level of breakdown, you were going to get rewarded, which the market usually struggles to offer that kind of a deal. He has a golden parachute. Yeah. And he's got a separate one for the Rolex he wears too. So first he puts his parachute up on the way down, and then he's like, but I got to protect the Rolex. And then the Rolex makes a soft landing. And as long as he's happy, I'm good. I don't know. This is getting the feeling of a little bit of ugliness out there. PayPal does not look great at all. Maybe could be due for some balance. 1, 2, 3, 4 red days in a row. Square. Still technically at the levels of yesterday. Airbnb has just been back and forth. Horrible day for Airbnb yesterday. Horrible open for Airbnb. This might be one of my favorite shorts. Would still have to wait for the retest. This is technically a retest, but now you're breaking all sorts of pivots, and maybe anybody from this massive short with volume that came in yesterday might want to take profits. But if I was in there from a short from yesterday, I would just be sitting for that pullback, which I do expect, and then trying to continue to ride this thing down. But you will definitely have some people profitable on the short side of things, because no matter where you shorted, except for back here, maybe there's like three people. I don't know. JP Morgan, some of the banks were getting hit. And again, JP Morgan yesterday, they put out some slight chance of recession news. So they started going down. I don't think that helped any of the bulls feel any type of way in a confident manner about the markets yesterday. So it was just kind of like we were getting piled with negative. Apple did have some news yesterday, and Tesla got a little bit of a push on it. I believe they said they're delaying their self-driving car, I think, till 2026. So there was a point during the day where you saw Apple drop a little bit and Tesla started to run on that news. Very, very short-lived. Nothing crazy there. Netflix back down to 305, still hanging out above the 10 EMA. It's one of the few rare ones. DraftKings, we got some key volume level around 1385. So again, to the short side of things are just definitely I would say still weaker, but has potential support that maybe we could utilize. Maybe somehow bulls get interested. I think all of those levels would be slightly lower than we're at, and that makes at least risk reward a little bit on the tougher side today. Fastly does not look good since 09. But yep, little gap down. That looks like some of the other ones that are just hanging at the very bottom, very low of where we closed. Beyond Meat actually had a green day yesterday, and that's giving that all up today. So far, at least, still kind of hanging in where we opened on Beyond Meat. Nothing really looks tremendous about that. That would be almost a 10 EMA play, not quite though. Wayfair had some movement down into the 10 EMA today, again gapping below it. This would be a nice retest gap as well. So see if you get that retest into 37.10, would be a decent spot to look to buy that. Cancel that. All right, cool. All right, let me see. What about the biddy? That one's back down. So that one, I was shocked. It was like 17,000. I was like, ooh, little bit of a comeback. Don't call it a comeback. But the biddy's down as well. See if there's anything else on the list. I think those are the main ones. Airbnb to me looked the most interesting. CRM has just been getting smacked around. So yesterday was a retest gap. We did retest into that. This one could continue lower as well. So I would still be watching CRM for the short side of things. I think momentum's obviously drifting in the bearish direction for sure. Costco, yep, even Costco was down a little bit. And looks like that's continuing. So down another $2 on the Costco. If it comes a lot lower, I'll buy in bulk. But until that point, probably the next stop on Costco is 471. So that gives us a decent $8 room to the downside. We're caught up in a little bit of support up here. But if that breaks, that should give us decent risk reward. And we got 23 seconds. Uber looks horrible. Again, one little level of support. I'm waiting for like a little bit of grain out of the markets, but we'll see what happens. Unfortunately, all my peeps on YouTube land, this is about the time I got to disconnect from YouTube. You guys are absolutely incredible. Make sure on the way out, you guys hit that little thumbs up, the like button, hit subscribe. Make sure you guys stay in touch with all of the latest content that comes out. Otherwise, that is the bell of me having to disconnect.